Welcome back everyone. LowKey was on the Piers Morgan show a few months back and he did a fantastic job in educating Piers. There were some very important clips which I don't think many would have seen. Piers Morgan Uncensored is clearly censored. Let's take a look.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Rupert Murdoch,
Yeah.
News Corp International,
Yeah.
which employed you for several years.
Yes.
Which actually
It employs me
is
now.
it employs you now.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting to the issue.
Yes.
Now.
What
News
do you think
Corp-
the issue is?
News-
I
I'll
saw what you
explain to
tweeted. What does it have to do with me?
Not my tweets. I have a question for you. News Corp International had a charitable arm which funded the Jerusalem Foundation, which builds illegal
What's this
settlements.
got to do with me?
Illegal settlements in
What's it got to do with
Jerusalem.
me?
Do you condemn Rupert Murdoch?
What's it got to do with me?
Do you condemn Rupert Murdoch?
I'm not talking about Rupert
Do you,
Murdoch.
do you condemn Rupert Murdoch?
I'm not talking about Rupert Murdoch.
This has never been shown on British media. This is a letter from Netanyahu's political office. And Bridget may well recognize the handwriting of Benjamin Netanyahu
Okay.
here. It is a list of individuals that Netanyahu considered to be funders of his political campaign. There is a name on this list. The name is Rupert Murdoch. Your employer.
You know what, LowKey?
It seems he funded Benjamin Netanyahu.
You know
That's
what?
an issue.
You know what, LowKey? It's not an issue for me.
It's an issue,
Nobody
and actually it's in the
tells- no.
interest of objectivity
Understand one thing.
that you state it.
Rupert Murdoch can speak for himself. You've got a problem with him, take it up with him.
I do,
I
yeah.
can tell you categorically, he has never had a single conversation with me about anything I've put on Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Sam kindly
Ever.
resigned
Ever.
from the Times newspaper
Ever.
because of Murdoch's investments
Fine.
and bias
If
towards
you have a
Israel.
problem,
This
LowKey,
document, this letter,
You're a rapper,
clearly
right?
shows Benjamin Netanyahu noting
Okay.
Rupert Murdoch, considering him to be a funder of his political campaign.
You're a rapper, yeah?
That's an issue.
You're a rapper. Do you condemn P. Diddy?
Yes.
Great. You see how easy it is?
Wow, I don't think I've ever seen Piers looking so bamboozled in my life. How many of us thought Piers was independent? But this whole time he's been employed by Rupert Murdoch. Piers then says he can categorically say Murdoch has never had a problem with what he said on his show. Of course he wouldn't have had a problem when you've spread lies throughout Israel's genocide, specifically about the beheading of babies. Man, hats off to LowKey for exposing this reaction from Piers.
Topic.
But what about the 1,200 people who they murdered and the 7,000 they wounded?
No. Hundreds of those people were killed when Israel implemented the Hannibal Directive.
That's simply not true.
It simply is true.
It isn't.
And I encourage you, in the spirit of journalistic inquiry and curiosity, to really look that up.
It's already
Because
been thoroughly investigated.
It absolutely has not
But
been.
it has, LowKey.
It's been investigated by Al Jazeera. It's been investigated by trustable news sources that have found this to be the case.
No, it's not true that hundreds
Absolutely.
of people in those
saw
named
the footage.
casualty numbers on the Israeli side
were killed by Israel.
Killed by Israel.
No, it's a fact. It's
It's
a
not-
documented
it's not
fact.
a fact.
It's a documented fact. And you know what else? If you were to study those cars which were put forth as evidence that Hamas had killed those people fleeing the Nova Festival, the order came directly from the Israeli Air Force. This is a mass Hannibal. This is a dead zone. No cars will
Did you
pass.
watch the
Those
documentary?
cars
Did you watch
were
the
hit by
documentary
Apache.
last week on BBC Two
No.
about the music festival? Right, you
No.
literally see Hamas fighters with their GoPros going from car to car, murdering people.
That happened. Yeah, that happened.
Why are you trying to
Just-
diminish the scale of what was going on?
I've just said that happened. That doesn't equate to diminishing what you've just
It doesn't
stated.
say hundreds of
You're
hundreds.
diminishing Apache helicopters bombing cars that contained civilians. You're diminishing all of the Israeli captives that have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. Israeli captives have come out of Gaza and said very clearly that actually they were scared of being killed by Israeli airstrikes.
Why are
Piers says the Hannibal Directive has been thoroughly investigated. If it was heavily investigated, then why has it barely been discussed on his show? And why has he never put this question to any of the Israeli officials he's had on? LowKey, hats off to him again for saying it how it is. When has the IDF ever given an explanation of any of the killings they've carried out? And here we have LowKey saying, and I quote, "That happened." Talking about the shooting at cars, we have nothing to hide. The reason being is because we know exactly what's going on and what exactly has happened. We have no reason to shy away from the facts. Unlike Mr. Piers, who refuses to answer the question about Apache helicopters and also the released Israeli captives who said they feared for their lives from who? from Israeli airstrikes.
No,
Let me ask you a question.
Let me
Do they
ask some
have-
questions.
Do they have air forces and air defenses?
Let me ask.
Do they have air forces and air defenses?
So it sounds like you're defending what they do.
No, I'm saying there is a complete difference between one of the most powerful armies in the world, which has literally a key unit within the Israeli military, Unit 9900, is the visual unit which uses satellites in the sky that can pick off a bit of chewing gum on your shoe, okay? You're talking about actors that are shooting rockets which do not have precise targeting against one of the most powerful air forces in the world.
It sounds to me,
F-15s, F-16s, and F-35s.
LowKey.
You're talking about asymmetrical warfare. But you know the thing that Israel doesn't remember, and which Israel has to know and must know, that winning a war is not about killing on an industrial scale the weakest among the population you are targeting, which Israel excels at, which is the essence of Zionism. Winning a war is about the largest amount of people being convinced of your viewpoint. If we use that metric to understand this war, Israel has lost in Gaza and it will lose in Lebanon because Israel has more enemies around the world than ever before. More people are critical of Zionism than ever before. More people understand it to be essentially an anti-life ideology, which is causing mass human suffering.
Guys, let's not be afraid to say it as it is. This is not a war. This is a genocide. $300 billion the US has given to Israel, and still they cannot defeat not only Hamas, but also they cannot achieve their primary goal of a greater Israel. Let's hope the existence of a greater Israel never happens. LowKey absolutely schools Piers in this educational masterclass. Anyway guys, I hope you find the video useful. Thanks for watching. Support me by liking and subscribing and becoming a channel member. I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.